Bienvenido a la Asociación
Good afternoon,
Rural
everyone.
del Paraguay.
Welcome to the Rural Association of Paraguay.
Es para nosotros un gusto, un honor contar con la presencia
It's a great pleasure and honor for us
del señor Ministro de Economía, Educación e
to
Investigación de
receive the
la
Ministry,
hermana Suiza,
Minister of Education, Research,
de nuestro
Science.
Canciller Nacional, el
Of
doctor
Switzerland.
Gonzaga, del Ministro de Agricultura y Ganadería, doctor
also
Medina,
our Minister, Dr. Besser,
de la Embajadora de Paraguay en Suiza, Del embajador.
Ambassador to Switzerland,
del embajador de Suiza en Paraguay y también
Ambassador
del,
of Switzerland,
y,
Paraguay,
y también del viceministro de la Ganadería, el doctor Marcelo González, también presente.
and also the Vice Minister of Catering, Marcelo González.
Como quisiera informarles, esta asociación tiene 133 años de vida.
I would like to inform you that this organization is 133 years old.
Es un gremio que representa a 157.000 productores ganaderos.
It's an organization which represents 167 factors.
Una institución inclusiva, lo que beneficia al más grande ganadero,
It's an
beneficia al
inclusive
pequeño
organization
ganadero.
which includes the small cattle organizers as well as the big ones.
Por eso que decimos siempre que el trabajar en el campo es hacer patria.
That's why we say that working in the field is to build a country.
Y agregamos con mucho orgullo que la Asociación Rural del Paraguay es, como lo indica, la rural es el Paraguay.
And that's why we like to say proudly that the Paraguayan Rural Association is actually Paraguay.
Exportamos carne a la Unión Europea,
We export meat to the European Union
a más de 60 países,
for more than 60 countries.
y trabajamos en una comunión con el gobierno paraguayo,
And we work together with the Paraguayan government,
especialmente con la Cancillería Nacional.
especially with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Así que muy bienvenidos todos,
So please, all of you welcome.
y que vamos a tener una presentación de lo que es la ganadería y después vamos a disfrutar la mejor carne del mundo.
Now we're going to have a short presentation for what the cattle is in Paraguay, and afterwards we're going to have, we're going to try the best meat in the world.
Esteemed Presidente,
Señor Presidente,
Excellencies,
Excelencias,
Ministers,
Ministros,
my dear friends,
mis queridos amigos,
on behalf of my delegation, I want to very briefly thank you.
En nombre de mi delegación quería agradecerles brevemente.
Thank you for the whole day's program,
Gracias por la programación de estos días,
which is a very ambitious program and which offers a very good insight into
lo que resulta en un ambicioso
activities.
programa justamente para estas actividades.
And we went through very interesting discussions, and as you know, we prepare our internal back home discussion about Mercosur.
Y tenemos justamente, vemos que tenemos unas conversaciones muy importantes en relación a lo que hace a un poco a Mercosur.
And the goal of our Mercosur knowledges and discussions must be that we can earlier or later conclude with you a EFTA-Mercosur Free Trade Agreement.
Así que sabemos que con Mercosur lo que estamos viendo es que lo que estamos buscando es un acuerdo entre Mercosur y la Asociación Libre Europea de Comercio.
And if we try to find out where the win-win can be organized. In that sense,
Estamos
thank you
buscando
very much
una,
for receiving us again. I hand over to the Minister of
una
Agriculture,
situación en donde ambos podamos ganar.
and I'm now very carefully listening to what you tell us since
Y ahora estaremos con la Ministra de Cultura y escucharemos cuidadosamente justamente lo que quiere contarnos.
my trade is a Minister of Agriculture, which I'm me too, is from time to time quite a challenge. I want to see whether it's a challenge for you as well. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias. Quisiera también hacer la presentación
I would like to also do a presentation
de la señora Ministra de Hacienda, la
by the
señora
Ministry
Lea
of
Jiménez,
Finance,
que
Mrs.
está
Lea
con
Jiménez,
nosotros.
who is here joining us.
Gracias, Ministra.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Ba'éichapa maiteirorý tape oheporãite Paraguáipe.
How are you today? And it's actually our native language.
Just let me do it. Well, this is Guarani, no Spanish nor English nor German nor French. Paraguay we are proud to be one of the only bilingual country in the world, and 75% first speak Guarani before Spanish. So we welcome you in our native language. Thank you. We feel honored to have you here. I know we are very hungry, so I'll try to be very brief. This presentation will be at your service, and any other information you may need, please don't hesitate to ask us. We'll be glad to have you and to hand you anything that you may need. You perhaps know a little bit about Paraguay, so I'll just want to spend a few seconds telling you that we are a very young society. 50% of our population is between 15 and 40 years old. 37% of the population less than 15 years old. And we have the main assets of the millennium: food, water, and energy. Paraguay is actually divided in two regions that we may consider as two separate countries for the way they are being developed. The eastern region, where we are right now, where live 97% of the population, has around the size of the United Kingdom, and where the 99% of the agriculture and 55% of the livestock production is performed. And then we have the western region, or Chaco, which is 62% of our territory, has the size of New Zealand, and only live 3% or less than 3% of the population, and is a main area for livestock production, mainly beef and dairy. Paraguay has always been a food production platform since its very origins. You see, the Spaniards, when they got to these lands, they didn't find mines neither of gold nor silver. These were mines of beef, leather, and yerba mate at that time, which is a product, a type of tea we produce here in the country. And since then, agriculture has been the basis of our social and economic development. 500 years after, we still preserve that vision. And that's why our National Development Plan pursues this vision: Paraguay as a food production platform for the world. And we have three main objectives in this development plan. We want to reduce poverty, we want to promote social inclusive economy, and we want to position Paraguay in the world. Paraguay is actually doing well and performing well during the last 15 years, positioning itself as a world exporter. And just to share with you some of this information, we are the first electric energy exporter in the world, first exporter of organic sugar. We are the second in yuca and stevia. We got the third largest river barge fleet of the world after the United States and China. We are third world exporter of yerba mate, fourth of soybean, yuca starch, soybean oil. We're number 5 in chia, number 6 in beef, number 7 in corn, number 10 in wheat. We are the only subtropical country which actually produce and export wheat, sesame and rice, just to mention some of the production items where we have been positioned ourselves in the world. Right now we produce food for around 100 million people in the world, and we have the potential of at least triple this production. We are a very important dependence on agriculture. You can see in this graphic that 45% of our GDP depends on agriculture. You can see also how our export depends heavily in agricultural exports. And agriculture is also a way of achieving our main goal in the country as a and we Paraguayan as a society. We are decreasing poverty, and you can see here that as we are increasing our agricultural export, poverty index are decreasing in the country. Back in 2006, we were in an index rate of about 49% on poverty index. Back in 2016, we decreased that to 28. And let me tell you about our livestock production in Paraguay, and perhaps showing you this brief audio visual will be the best way to share it with you.
Ganado de invernada. Las buenas prácticas en cuanto al ganado de invernada se refiere son aquellas medidas que favorecen el desarrollo del animal durante la recría y la última etapa de engorde, optimizando la capacidad de producir carne de manera rápida y eficiente. En los sistemas de recría e invernada cobra importancia no solo la cantidad de forraje disponible, sino fundamentalmente su calidad. Por lo tanto, es necesario plantearse como objetivo maximizar la calidad de la oferta forrajera a lo largo del año, la cual puede verse afectada por causas naturales como frío, sequía, inundación, quema, así como por deficiencias en la cantidad y calidad del forraje. Las ganancias de peso que se pueden obtener en una determinada pastura son muy variables, según el manejo referido básicamente a las épocas de utilización, la carga animal y el tipo de pastoreo a realizar. Con verdeos de invierno como avena y acebén, se puede complementar la producción de las praderas, al igual que con sistemas de conservación de forrajes como ensilaje y heno, o pasturas diferidas, entre otros.
En esta estancia hacemos cría, recría y cabaña. Generamos también el forraje conservado en forma de heno para el confinamiento de recría que tenemos, a fin de que esos terneros pasen bien el invierno con ganancias promedio entre 600 a 800 gramos por día, durante aproximadamente 120 a 150 días. Entonces los terneros que nacen en los meses de agosto, septiembre, octubre, pasan su primer invierno en condiciones ideales de nutrición. Porque como todos sabemos, los pilares del manejo ganadero son obviamente la nutrición, la genética, la sanidad y el manejo.
El Paraguay produce alimentos en cantidad y calidad, impulsando el desarrollo de sus campos y su gente en armonía con el medio ambiente.
Well, this is a little bit how we produce beef in Paraguay. We produce 95% of our production is on grass, natural. We don't use any hormone or antibiotic in the diet. just to share with you some numbers that may be important to keep it with you. Our national herd is about 13.8 million heads, 153,000 producers in the country, and a grazing area of about 16.2 million hectares, which gives us a stocking rate of 1.2 hectares per head. 12.4% of our GDP as a value chain depends on livestock. We produce, livestock produce more than 400,000 jobs in the country, around 11% of our economic active population. Our annual slaughtering is of 2.7 million heads. Our annual production is about 600,000 tons. 38% of that production goes to the internal market. We have a beef consumption of 36 kilos per person. We are actually the first country which consumes the most beef after Argentina and Uruguay. We export 62% of our annual production. We got currently 18 packing plants, 92 open markets, and we are exporting to 5 continents. Our beef industry has actually developed during the last 17 years, and you can see this in this slide that our national herd since 2000 grew by 49%. Our annual slaughtering increased 4.7 times. Our exports increased 4.2 times, and our export in value of beef and byproducts increased by 21 times. Our main market, Chile, Russia, Brazil, and Switzerland is not the main market in terms of volume, but yes, it is our main market in terms of prices paid per ton. Quality beef, natural, and we are not number 6 world exporter right now in terms of beef, and you can see here how we have increased our beef export. This is just beef, not byproducts. We grew since 2017, since Paraguay increased 15 times his exports. Brazil did it 3.5, Uruguay 3.8, and Argentina 1.8 times. And actually no country in the world has increased its export as Paraguay did during the last 17 years. 40% of our land is used for livestock. 40% of the land in the country is still native forest. And our native forests represent the same territory of Switzerland, Denmark, Belgium, Netherlands, and Slovenia all together. So we still have a lot of native, even though we are increasing our production, we still preserve a lot of native resources in order to keep our vision of production with sustainability in harmony with the environment. Deforestation is always, I think, we in the international forum we are asked about. So I think it's good to share it with you. We have a public policy very clear for deforestation. The eastern region, where 97% of the population is living, we have a zero deforestation public policy. There is actually a law that prohibits any deforestation in this area. The western region, the Chaco, which still has 14.2 million hectares, we do have native forest transformation legally, but it's very important to mention that for 1 hectare that we transform, by our legislation, we have to preserve 1 hectare. So we are among the only countries in the world that have that sort of legislation. 1 hectare transformed, 1 hectare preserved, forever. What are the perspectives and some final considerations? We as a beef industry has this very ambitious objective. We want to become the number 5th world exporter with at least 600,000 tons with exportable balance. Let me see. Agriculture for Paraguay has become the symbol of our country. Honest, and prosperous. And feeding the world is, of course, an opportunity for us, but it's always our commitment and responsibility with the world. And of course, I know you were in Brazil, you will be in Uruguay and Argentina, but I'm sure you, the very, very best beef in the world is from Paraguay. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, señor Ministro de Agricultura y Ganadería, por la excelente
Thank you very
presentación.
much, Mr. Minister of Agriculture and Livestock.
Y ahora sí, les invito a pasar a disfrutar de la mejor carne del mundo.
And now I invite you to go to try the best meat in the world.
Hay en un supermercado, en el supermercado Migros, está la carne paraguaya que podrían pasar por ahí a comprarla.
There is a supermarket named Grow in which you could go and buy the Paraguayan meat.